With many hearts and minds still focused on Ukraine, I'm spotlighting organizations providing relief and recovery. And today I'm joined by Dora Chomiak from Razom from Ukraine. Dora, thank you so much for joining me.
Great to be here. Thank you.
Absolutely. So for folks that aren't familiar with your organization, could you introduce them to Razom for Ukraine? Why was it founded and what's your mission?
Sure. Razom means together in Ukrainian, and we were formally founded in January of 2014. We came out of the Revolution of Dignity, which was a movement in Ukraine that really kind of pushed a lot of new reforms. And so we were founded simultaneously in Ukraine and in the United States and around the world. Frankly, we were founded online. So our mission has been and continues to be to build a more prosperous Ukraine. And we do that by encouraging civic engagement and by amplifying voices of people from Ukraine in conversations around the world. And that's why I'm really excited to be able to speak today, because we've been for the past 8, almost 9 years, working on a variety of different projects across many industries, all with the mission of all with a focus on Ukraine, all with a focus on working side by side, people in Ukraine, people outside of Ukraine. And since February 24th, actually since about a week before February 24th, we've launched our emergency response program. And we had come together with several other organizations in the middle of February, just in case it was needed to provide medical supplies and medical training to people in Ukraine. To be able to sort of do a joint fundraiser. And unfortunately, we had to activate it and keep it active. And in the past 5-6 months, we've scaled up very, very quickly.
So thank you for walking me through that. I think, one of the interesting things that I heard there is that, you were born specifically focused on Ukraine and have been, on the ground for a number of years at this point. It's not a matter of that, it's a large international relief organization that's working all around the world. It's, very tightly focused on Ukraine. And I understand that that's likely why you've gotten so much attention and part of why we're talking today. And I'm curious as to, with that specific focus on Ukraine and trying to build a more prosperous nation, how are you, what is your approach to providing relief and recovery? And how do you see that being different than some other organizations?
Our approach is consistent with how we have been working for the past 8 years. And that is what has allowed us to move very quickly and adapt. And that approach is really by unlocking the potential of people in Ukraine. So we're really a seamless team that happens to be located in different countries, but we have a strong network of organizations and individuals around the country. And that's how we really keep our ear to the ground and have a sense of what the needs are. And we try and innovate and experiment as much as possible. So as an example, the troops rolled in full force on February 24th. That day, we already had our first couple suitcases of medical supplies heading over to Ukraine. We got feedback about what worked and what didn't, and we changed it and we scaled it. And then it was a few boxes, and then the boxes turned into pallets. And then we built out a whole procurement distribution system now that's point to point that delivers tactical medicine into the hands of the people who need it. And just to give you an example of that, sort of how we scale it in an iterative way, we've also built our own software so we can track end to end where things are, what's gotten where. And so with each delivery, and we've done over 1,200 deliveries, we try and improve the process and try and iterate it. So I think that's our differentiators, as you said, our focus on Ukraine. And our approach is to build civic societies, to work with the third sector. There's the business, there's the government, and then there's the third sector. And our approach is to understand the needs on the ground and to respond to them and adapt and really tap into the innovation and the creativity that is just a hallmark of Ukraine.
Absolutely.
And so that's what's allowed us. So we, like, just to put it into context, for the first 8 years of our existence, we raised and spent about $200,000 a year. We had in that whole time 4,000 individual donors. We did a lot collaboratively with other organizations, so we didn't necessarily need the cash. We helped, everyone kind of put in their knowledge. Since February 24th, we've raised $60 million, and we've deployed over 40 million already through our programs that we've developed. So we move quickly. We really are operating on a day-by-day level. We want this invasion to end a day sooner.
Absolutely. And I think, with that type of influx, it's great that you've been able to action it so quickly. I know that sometimes, kind of the influx in funds becomes its own problem, but it sounds like you put that to great use through the partner network that you're working with, and then even the responsiveness to be able to spin up software to be able to do the tracking. Certainly applaud you because,
Ukraine has a lot of talent.
yeah, I'm seeing that. And it's been several months now since the war started, and I'm curious as to what you and the team are seeing on the ground in Ukraine at this point, and how that's potentially shifted maybe some of the ways that you're responding.
Well, I just returned a few days ago from several weeks in Ukraine, where I had the privilege of working alongside my colleagues. And there's definitely a shift in that the need to save lives, the need to stop the bleeding, literally stop the bleeding, continues. Um, we were doing some evacuations, now we're doing some repatriations. What the new needs that we're seeing have to do around mental health. And so we've just started a new kind of pilot program to provide mental health support for people who have been displaced. On a personal level, as someone who's been traveling to Ukraine at least once a year or living there since 1989, there is simultaneously a tremendous energy and determination and fatigue. It's very unsettling to be the recipient of a game of Russian roulette, where you don't know if, like our conversation right now, is going to be interrupted because there's an air raid and you have to move, or your sleep is disrupted and you have a 5-year-old child who can't sleep through the night because you have to move. That wears on you, and so it's kind of a shift into, okay, the first adrenaline is done, and now how do we all make this be a successful, sustainable kind of effort? And that's why ending the attacks one day sooner is crucial. So we've also started up, in addition to our aid program, we've now launched an advocacy program to help people understand what's happening in Ukraine, to help the community of lawmakers understand the importance of supporting Ukraine at a governmental level, and also to help the business community understand the importance of not funding the war machine. So we're working on multiple fronts there to make these connections.
Absolutely. And for folks that are tuning in, how can they learn more about Razom? How can they help you and your team in your efforts?
Great question. We try and share as much information as we can through our website, razomforukraine.org, as well as our presence on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. We also have a newsletter that we send out by email pretty much once a week, and you can sign up for that on our website. I would say that's keeping track of what we do. Of course, we welcome donations and volunteer hours, but the one thing I would ask for everyone to do, the most powerful thing you can do for Ukraine right now, and to support the resilience of the people in Ukraine, is take a little bit of time and learn about it. Listen to a Ukrainian song, watch a Ukrainian movie, read a book about Ukraine, learn something about the country for yourself directly from people in the country. Make sure it's created in Ukraine, what you're reading, and just take an interest in it, and then share it with your neighbor, share it with your coworker. I think that's the single most powerful thing we can all do is actually hear what people in Ukraine are saying, and sharing that with our community and making it be our own, because there's an incredible wealth of talent and creativity in that part of the world that has a lot to offer to the world, to the world that respects rule of law, to the world that respects human rights. And I think that value is available to people if they take a little bit of time to learn a little bit about it. So eat some Ukrainian food, listen to some Ukrainian music, watch a movie.
I'm going to take you up on it. That's absolutely beautifully said. And I think, what's there too is that if Ukraine has been top of mind because of the war, it is a matter of that you want, and you've supported organizations like Razom for Ukraine. you want to understand your impact, and there's no better way to do that than really tuning in and also making a long-term commitment of just saying, well, I'm not going to support them just in this one instance. I'm going to
Yep.
continue to do that for quite some time.
Exactly.
Well, Dora, I really appreciate you joining us. I know you've got quite the busy schedule with everything that's going on and coming and going from Ukraine, but thank you so much for sharing insight, and look forward to continuing to see your progress.
Thank you. Look forward to talking again.